This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good evening and good morning, everyone. Welcome. You're listening to INCRadio. We're broadcasting live here in England. I am Erica Celestino, and I'm her sister. Yeah, but what's your name? I'm Ariane. There you go, Ariane Celestino. We sound alike. We look alike. Yeah, okay.
Do we look alike?
Do we look alike? I don't know. But we're not here for that because we're here for our topic discussion, which I'm so excited to talk about. Just talk about. We're not going to work out. No, just kidding. We will. Sad face. No, we're here very excited because today the topic discussion is body strengthening. But before we start with our body strengthening topic discussion.
Can you see my muscle?
I don't have muscles. What should the viewers do first or be reminded of?
Whoever is watching us right now live on YouTube, please don't forget to keep commenting throughout the show and make sure to include your local and GT. For example, hashtag Heathrow, and hashtag Heathrow. So, for example, hashtag Battersea, hashtag choir, hashtag secretary, hashtag Sidolia.
Yes, exactly. Sidolia stands for Children's Worship Service. Okay, so that's an example. And also, did you remind them to like and share with friends so they can join us as well in the Team Live chat? And don't forget that as we talk with someone, because it's not just going to be me and Ariane. We're not really professionals regarding this. So we
have a special guest later.
We have a special guest, which will whom we'll introduce in a bit, right? Other reminders, nothing, right? So like, share, comment, put your greetings, your hashtags, and also join us in the topic discussion if you have experiences that you would like to, share with us. Because we have a lot to share. But for me, do you work out? Well, let's go and ask Brian, who is going to be our guest for today. Hey, Brian.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Brian Pagdilao, and I'm an online fitness coach. I specialize in strength and conditioning.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much for being with us today. And as mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about body strengthening. So that means that, because I guess the perception of general public, I guess, is that when we say body strengthening, it's it's for aesthetics. It's like, let's go to the gym. Selfie. And then after that, And so, well, for me personally, I do that.
We've all done it at one point.
At one point, I've done that. But what is one of the core principles of body strengthening? Because when we say body strengthening, it's so wide as a topic, right? So how can you narrow it down for us?
Yeah, so strength training, I think there's a misconception that it's all about just going to the gym, lifting weights, and resistance training, right? And I think most of us, or that's the kind of common knowledge about strength training.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, there's also dynamic strength training, which is using our own body weights, right? Things like calisthenics.
I was gonna actually
And
say that.
right,
Okay.
there you go. And other compound movements that requires our own body weight. So it doesn't necessarily mean using external resistance such as weights, barbells, dumbbells, things like that.
Okay.
But we can also use our own body weight to strengthen our joints, our muscles, our ligaments, tendons, the whole thing.
Okay, so because I know, for example, like when you mentioned about not using other weights, right? So the first thing I was thinking was progressive overload.
Yep.
Because I remember way back then, but also I asked you ages ago,
Yep.
like what to do if like you're thinking of lifting, right? And you're like, okay, you got to start like small, and then over time you add up.
Yeah. So progressive overloads. So essentially, you start off where it's a little bit, comfortable for you, where you could do things like, 10 to 12 reps if you're going to the gym, for example, or 12 repetitions. And then when you feel it's a little bit easier, that's when you start to progressive overload, which is either increasing weight, add extra resistance to a specific type of training that you're doing, and then give it a bit of time for you to be able to really adapt to it, and then keep on progressing, right? Meaning adding more weight, adding more resistance, adding more time, adding more tension, that kind of thing.
I was trying
Yeah, she's trying to leave me out. She
Oh,
can't
okay.
do that.
Yeah, that's progressive overload. There you go. That's a good example.
Let me start with my phone first.
These exercises, you also need balance, is it? Like balance training.
Yeah, but
So in different parts, you know how like different days you have different parts, or you can just do full body.
But aren't you okay? Here's the thing. Like she literally asked about that balance thing, right? But from what I heard from friends, and I'm saying this because I don't really go work out. You can't technically work out in like specific parts of your body. So technically, you're still working out
like
full body, but then you're like focusing on certain. But we can talk about this later, Brian.
Sure.
Wait a second,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the next
I could go on and on.
portion, I know.
We're just a bit
We're just like
excited.
And I'm sure of you was
So like the first one is progressive
overload.
overload. The second one is the one that I'm missing. And I'm calling
Regressive
myself
overload.
consistency.
There you go.
Because you have to show up for yourself every single time you want to work out. So whether you're there's days every day where I'm like I don't want to go and exercise.
Yeah, especially
Because
now
you're
it's really
tired
cold.
and
Yeah.
it's
Gotta
cold.
be disciplined, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you gotta be disciplined. So that's like another core principle, I think.
Yeah.
That it's like a habit actually. Because why am I talking? This doesn't work out.
Yeah, so with consistency, I think the main thing is that there are certain exercises or activities that we like to do, right? So maybe someone doesn't like to necessarily go to the gym and lift weights. Maybe someone is into cycling, right, or swimming or other sports activities. And so if we like a certain activity, we should start with that, because once we get the momentum going and we're starting to keep active, then that's when we open up other things that we can get involved with, maybe strength training to help us with a specific sport that we're doing, right? So discipline doesn't necessarily mean, or consistent doesn't need to be this like really
every
difficult
day.
thing that you do.
And
start
you can
small.
still like
every day.
enjoy it.
But also,
Yeah.
I think it's like visually, because I'm a visual person. Like what I'm imagining is that consistency. It's not like always 100%, but if like on one day you feel like you're 80% and you give that 80% when you're working out or you're
That's still
exercising,
100%.
that's still 100%. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, I think one of the other things that would be helpful is, rather than saying, oh, should I go work out or should I not
I
work
just
out
go.
today? One of the things that you could do is like, okay, what are small little steps that you could do to try and build some kind of momentum, right? So
Yeah, to go.
because the thing is like, oh yeah, I've got to go to the gym and I've got to do all of this. Break it down. Maybe it's all about just, all right, let me just drink
It is
a glass of
overwhelming for
water, and then
people.
small wins, right? Small
Yeah.
wins that stacks up,
It's
and then
like-
you feel good.
Here, and let's
and
go
then
play
you go and-
volleyball.
Yeah.
You know what you mentioned earlier, like about not always like just going to the gym and playing
Yeah.
all sports, and I'm like, okay, then that's me. I
Everyone's
have
like, oh
consistency.
yeah.
Yes.
You don't always have to go to the
Because
gym.
I feel like we
sometimes-
go volleyball, tennis, we
Yeah.
run, we just like playing sports. So I think it's like it's more on what you also like.
Yeah.
Because what like consistency also helps when you like doing what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
So
I
you
feel like
can't force
sometimes,
yourself.
like starting, it's also hard. Like
Yeah,
for
I
people,
know.
Mhm.
since you mentioned, oh, like some people just like, oh, just go to the gym and do all that, but it might be overwhelming for like others.
Yeah.
So making like smaller steps or smaller goals that are actually achievable
Yep.
during that
I
time.
think what helps
Mm.
someone. Like
Yeah,
like
going
someone
with someone.
Okay. Yeah.
because I think like it helps like for example uh to build up the momentum, right?
Mhm.
So in the beginning, you just don't know what to do. So you go with your like a friend that goes to the gym, and then after a while, when you learn like the basics and stuff,
Then you can go
that's
by
when-
yourself.
Exactly.
So I have to shout out Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. You know why? Because this is a funny story. So we used to be like, we try to keep each other accountable, right?
Mhm.
And then we'd be like, okay, 5 a.m. gym, yeah?
Oh.
We would wake up. Oh, yeah, really, Brian. We would wake up 4:30. We would be like, you awake? Yes, I'm awake. Okay. And then we'd be like, are we going? Okay, let's go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta go really early in the morning, 5 a.m., 4 a.m.,
Yeah,
3 a.m." It doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean that that's the only golden hour that you should go and, amazing results is gonna happen. Again, at the end of the day, whatever works for you with your schedule, everyone's different, obviously. But yeah, like if you're not a morning person, let's say, and then waking up at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning, that's probably not a good idea to, to
Yeah,
start
but
with
I
that,
guess
right?
like we tried just because
Yeah.
like after work you're kind of tired, you know what I
Mm,
mean, and so you just like want to relax. So we tried the morning ones, but we realized that we're not morning people,
right. Yeah.
so we would do it after work.
But I
Mm.
feel like that's easier. I feel like for
But
people that don't like, because for morning people, I feel like when you go home,
Yeah,
you tend to just, oh, I just want to rest. So if you're already out, like after work, you're already out, like your mental, yeah,
you're just like
like
going
mentally
straight to
already
it.
headed
Exactly.
instead
Yeah,
of like being on the bed and
but
like,
also
should I
it does
go?
help you, like if you work out in the morning, because I tried it, but not like early morning, right? I tried it like in the morning, and I was like, oh, I feel like energized, and I want to do like more things throughout the day.
Like more productive.
Yes, and it's sometimes. Okay, so we talked about progressive overload, consistency, and then the third one, I think you mentioned
yeah,
earlier,
The balance and like balance training.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's what we call isolation and compound movements,
Okay.
right? So it depends on specific goals that you have. So it's not a one shoe fits all, right? So if you're training for, let's say, volleyball, right, you can't just do bicep curls. It's not really going to help you in any way.
Well, when you fight,
And,
yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there's certain movements. Yeah. Um, so like compound movements would probably be better. So like when it comes to training it, you can use body weights to start off if you're not very comfortable in the gym. And then when you feel a little bit more comfortable, then yeah, maybe adding some extra weights. You can buy things in Amazon or online, just extra weights or weight vests, things like that if you want to go to the gym. For isolation movements, it's literally just isolating specific movements. So again, like bicep curls, shoulder presses, just one muscle group at a time, right? Um, but if you want to structure your training every single week, then yeah, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna hit legs all day every day for the next 7 days, right? So again,
Just
balancing
like
it out.
balancing out
Yeah,
like every
yeah.
like different parts of the body, or like
Yeah.
even the whole body. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, like for example, actually I was thinking of like swimming. You know what I mean? Like it hits like pretty
Okay.
much every day.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And also, what should we call it? When you mentioned about like using your body weight 1st.
Mhm.
So for example, I'm putting this into practice because we play volleyball. So we do drills. Oh, I don't like drills.
She just like to play.
So like like you just like either jump, like you have to use your what do you call it? Like your
Joints or
or like your strength, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to jumping and stuff, or like your stamina as well, like it builds up. And then shout out to Eric Daniel, our youngest brother, because I see him work out with weights. Like when you put the weights on your legs, and
Okay,
stuff,
yeah.
so that like he's training himself to like jump higher or something. Actually, I don't know what he's doing, but whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And then I see like him and other friends like wearing vests
Okay. Yep.
That way. So I was like, I can't do that, you know.
But like sometimes since people don't have like equipment at home, like also saw like my brother use a really heavy backpack from school,
Backpack.
like
Okay.
and use it back.
All
The
their
bag,
homework,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
textbooks,
He's like,
you know,
yes, my homework.
we've all been there.
Yes. Okay, and then like what's the next core?
So the fourth core principle, it's recovery, is it?
Yep.
So I read that muscles grow when you rest,
Mhm.
and I made a joke. Since muscles grow when you rest, you should rest.
Not
Cheeky.
only rest, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yes,
think
exactly.
That's everyone's favorite.
So
part
it's
of,
connected to the balance training.
100%. Yeah, no,
I guess like these are the four core principles when it comes to body strengthening. But like what advice could you give to like someone who's starting from zero, like has done nothing at all, and
Yeah.
how would you
yeah.
help
So
them out?
number one, like, we got to come up with a goal, right? So whatever specific goal that you want, like you can't just like go do stuff that you don't actually know what the end goal is. So have a goal in mind, and then break it down into smaller chunks. Because the reason why a lot of people don't start is because they feel overwhelmed with this big goal, this big mountain that they have to climb, right? And it just feels unachievable. So what that means is rather than going, let's say, 7 days a week in the gym, start maybe 2, 3 times a week. And then if you feel like not going to the gym, let's say, because not everyone is like, comfortable by going to the gym straight away. Do some body weight activities that maybe you could do at home, which is what we're gonna do a little bit later on that you can do as well.
We're excited for that.
And then tracking is very, very important. So let's say if you have a weighing scale at home, you can track how much you're weighing on a consistent basis. Drinking more water, let's say, for more hydration, nutrition, removing sugar, things like that. So just small little, again, goes back to building that momentum, which is very, 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 very
Can I
important.
ask something? Because you mentioned about tracking, right?
Uh-huh.
Personal experience as well. Sometimes, like, what advice would you give for someone who tracks things, like every how long, like period wise? Because you know how sometimes, like, I see people like tracking every day.
Uh-huh.
You don't really see a difference like every day, right? So
Yep,
that
that's a good
doesn't that does kind of affect like your
Motivation.
motivation,
Yeah.
or like I'm like
Oh yeah,
I don't
100%.
see any results, or
Yep.
so what's
Because the
like
changes
the
are like
average
small, isn't it?
time period where you check your progress?
That's a very good question. So one of the things I say is that weighing scale is what everyone thinks that they should track, right? Mainly. The thing is, like, you will not have the same weights, or things are going to fluctuate on a daily basis. So what you need to do is to find out the average, meaning by the end of the week, try and track how much progress you've made from the previous week, so that it's a little bit more averaged out. And then obviously you do that for a period of 4 weeks, and then a couple of months, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit more periodized. So what I'm trying to say is that don't get disheartened if like the next day you put on like an extra 2 pounds, because maybe you've just been more hydrated, right? Drinking more water and more fluids, and like I think. Right? Yeah, right. And so, and you have to, you need to drink. Okay, don't
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, right?
hydrated.
So yeah, so don't get disheartened. So what I normally like to do is more take body measurements, which is actually a little bit more accurate rather
Okay,
than
makes
what's
sense.
on the scale, right? So let's say, get a measuring tape, put it around your waist if that's what you're trying to track, that kind of thing, to see how many inches have come off, let's say. And then again, do it every single week. Every single week seems to be this sort of sweet spot where it's not too soon, but it's not too far off.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So like listeners and viewers, now we kind of have like that
Idea.
timeline. Okay. But also, I do have a question, because when it comes, like earlier we kind of touched upon it and we mentioned it. Like the misconceptions that people have regarding strength training. Can you mention like others?
Misconceptions when it comes to weight training, strength training, or weight
Strength.
training? Strength training. So the thing with strength training is, again, people connotate strength training with weight training, and they're not wrong for it. But strength training is really building up more strength through a certain type of resistance, right? Again, things like body weight and that kind of thing. One of the misconceptions that I normally hear is that lifting weights, let's say for example, makes you bulky, especially for women. Okay. So what I mean by this is that women tend to be more cardio based, let's say, or they're like, oh, I don't want to lift weights, I don't want to do strength training because I might get a little bit bigger. But that's actually not the case. And so again, like what Sister Erin has mentioned earlier, balance is very, very important, right? So we can't just be all strength training, but all cardio, maintaining that balance, because it's good for stamina, it's good for our overall joints and again strength, because we use ourselves for day to day as well. Let's say you're carrying groceries from Tesco, right? Or luggage to go traveling, walking up the stairs.
That's
right?
how you
don't have the strength. There you go. So
or like lifting your sister.
and that's the thing. Strength training, and the other misconception is that if you do strength training, you're more prone to injuries. It's actually not the case.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
not more strength training means better. It means that if you put it into your training regime, it actually allows you to have stronger joints, to prevent injuries rather than initiate it.
Initiate it.
There you
Makes
go.
sense though.
So prevention is better than
Yeah,
cure.
prevention is better than
It's because I remember I had it in my head. I think it's like around the lines of if you work out, you're strengthening your body, and so you avoid. Oh no, man, I love it.
So earlier when you were talking about the time frame of checking progress and stuff, how some people would actually stress about these kind of things. So how do stress, sleep and nutrition impact strength?
So stress. Okay, so when someone is stressed out, we release what we call cortisol, right? So I don't know if you guys heard of that. In viewers, basically, it puts us in a fight or flight situation, and when that happens, acute stress is like quite you get stressed out, but if it's continually prolonged, it actually affects recovery, meaning all of the training that you're doing, you're not going to recover as well. You're not going to be as strong, and the other thing is it will also affect your sleep. Right, because if someone's stressed out, they're feeling some type of way. Not only are they not recovering as well, the sleep is also affected, and now their progress is somewhat not diminished, but they're not able to sort of get to that progressive overload.
I feel like this is where you mentioned balance, right? Yeah. So it's not only when it comes to working out different parts of your body, but also your lifestyle. Meaning to say sleep is important, right? Food is important.
Yeah.
And also
everything is connected.
Everything is connected.
That's the main thing that I want to point out, is that it's not like, oh yeah, it's all about sleep, or it's all about just
It is.
it's the balance, because at the end of the day, we use ourselves, especially for our bodies, for worshiping our Lord God, right?
Yeah,
which is the main thing.
correct.
So we don't want to be at a place where we're not fit, and so we get sick, and now we can't perform our duties, or maybe we're overdoing it to a point when we're now injured, and so we can't also do the things that we need to do on our day to day, right? So balance is key. There's no one shoe fits all. There's no this has to be a specific way, and this is the only way to do things. Again, balance is very, very important.
Because when it comes to actually here, you mentioned that strength training, right? And they get confused with weight
training
as well.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Because you mentioned about strength training, but not really about weight training. So how are they connected, but also how do they differ?
So there's dynamic strength, and then there's also static strength, right? And we can go into a big rabbit hole with this. Sport specific strength. Let's say you're playing volleyball.
Okay.
What are some of the components that you need to be strong on? Lower body, jumping, power, that sort of thing, right? Core, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Compared to someone who maybe is a boxer. They need a little bit more kind of arm strength. It's obviously still the same thing, right? But they don't need the legs maybe as much for jumping and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So very, very two different sports, two different activities. It requires strength, and so it requires specific strength training
Okay.
meaning the movements need to be strengthened. So if it's like jumping, for example, then you may look at things like squatting, to strengthen the leg muscles. When it comes to upper body, upper body strength, right, like arms and kind of torso, chest, shoulders, that sort of thing, right? So it's not like again, it's very broad. It's a very broad topic, but basically it means that you've got to be specific to the type of activities that you do on what strength means for you in your own certain activity. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. And also, like, we're talking about like how strength training. I'm being very specific now and careful of what I'm saying. Strength training is very helpful, like every day, right? Like in your everyday. You mentioned about upholstery, yeah, like luggages, if we travel, right?
I feel like even just walking.
But walk, why?
Like, sometimes you're that tired and stuff. That's when
And
I
you just like
sleep.
drag yourself.
And you're like, yeah, I need strength.
You guys
Need rest.
See, even rest is important.
Yeah.
But like, what can you just like mention any other aspect of like the everyday life?
Yeah. So like this is the one thing that personally as someone who's trained individuals in the past is that we have a more very like sedentary lifestyle now. So let's say, for example, someone is working a 9 to 5, right? Someone's working in the office. We don't have a lot of movement for a long, extended period of time. And so, if anything, our day to day don't require us to do a lot of strength related training. And so, we have to implement it because, what happens if you sit down for too long?
Your back hurts.
Your back hurts, right? And the next thing you know, all of these like little joint pains and things like that. And so, if anything, it's like the day-to-day needs to be like simple things like being able to go out for a walk, let's say, walk up the stairs, right? Picking up groceries, if something's on the floor, you pick it up and you put it, on top of a cupboard, let's say, for instance. And, if for the parents who are here, running around because your child is trying to go to the side of the road and you got to chase the top, things like that. Like right now, there's more emphasis on just making sure that there's more movement. As
Like
much
there's
as possible.
mobility.
Yeah, mobility, movement, strength, obviously strength training if you go to the gym, stamina, that sort of thing. Because we're young, right? We're not that old. As we
Wait,
get
it's
older,
not?
we're gonna get to a point where
It's fine.
I'm clearly the youngest out of us.
We're in the same boat.
But what I was trying to say is that later on it's going to get more and more difficult if we're just sort of keeping not very active, and so we gotta make sure that we are moving around and doing what we need to do. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then, like, I think, like, for the viewers and listeners, right, we've been talking about a lot of gym workouts, right? And also, like, the importance of strength training. But at the same time, we did actually mention that if you don't want to go to the gym, well, because you want to save up, right? Like, gym costs. If you think about it.
My gym membership, you don't want to know.
Because if you think about it, it's like I have like my brothers don't really go to the gym. They don't have a gym membership, but I see them. I see their muscles. They're lean, but because they work out at home, and I see like how. You can actually work out like you mentioned by using your body weight, right? And so, can you just like give us tips or anything that we can do at home?
Yeah.
Like without even like equipment.
Yeah. So again, we're gonna do some exercise a bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, body weight exercises is actually, if anything, not just safer, but also helps with more better mobility, because you're not straining your joints or your muscles too much to a point where next day you're gonna be sore. So it makes you a little bit more athletic in a way and a little bit more well-rounded. Because what's that? Cardio. Okay. Everyone's favorite exercise.
No, not really. Running, but I don't really like cardio. Does that make
There you
sense?
go.
It does not make sense, but okay. Yeah. What were you saying?
So, like other examples, and you mentioned the groceries, with the bags. Because I don't know if it's a thing, but can you like lift it, like that kind of stuff?
Can I lift?
Like,
You want me to know?
like at home, like use it as a prop.
Oh, okay. So like use it as like extra weight. Yeah. So you could use things like water bottles, like 2 liters, let's say for example. And yeah, you can have let's say I don't know, like a Tesco bag, let's say for instance, right, and put some extra weights in there. Obviously you got to make sure that it's equal amounts if you're trying to use two of them at the same time. Um, you know, I've done this personally when during lockdown is I used to have like a 10 kilo rice bag, right? And I used to just squat with that, like just do some kind of trading with that. Well,
Bottle of
anything.
water.
Yeah,
Like
there you
that's
go.
like already
It doesn't have to be that
1
heavy.
liter.
Right.
Okay. I think we've talked too much about it.
Definitely, yeah.
But I did enjoy this. So thank you so much, Brian, for giving us so much information.
And advice
And
as
we
well.
hope that was very helpful, everyone. And so we invite everybody to sit back and relax because we'll have a quick break and we'll listen and enjoy this musical performance, which is Still Blessed by God. See you in a bit.
There are moments in your life when you stumble in the dark, when you're struggling to make it through the night. So you close your eyes and pray, and to God you humbly say, I am here, please draw near, show me the way. And you look up to a glimmering night sky, and you smile at the light of the stars. What you feel in the air, what's been there all around you, God's love. You're still blessed by God. And so forth you walk with a spring in your step as you wait for the dawning of day. You fear no shadows that lurk in the dusk, for God's love will light the way. And you look up to a glimmering night sky, and you smile at the light of the stars. What you feel in the air, what's been there all around you, God's love. You're still blessed by God. King God's words ever close to your heart. Don't let go. Hold on of the good fight. No matter the darkness that covers the night, we have God's light. You look up to a glimmering night sky. You will smile at the light of the stars. You will feel it in the air, everywhere, all around you, God's love. You're still blessed by God. To a glimmering night sky. You will smile at the light of the stars. You will feel it in the air, everywhere, all around you, God's love. You're still blessed by God.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Okay, that was a 10.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to INCRadio Fit and Faithful. Can you say hi? Speaking with the brethren from Heathrow, and we are with Brian. That will show us. He will show us a quick workout that we'll be doing together. All
Yes.
together. Are you excited? Yes. So, Chris, what do we have to do?
Okay, so I prepared a workout that requires a little bit more lower body, meaning more legs involved. And the reason being for this is that I feel like everyone just don't like what we call leg days or leg training, right? And so everyone misses that out. And so I thought, why don't we do something which is going to require a little bit more lower body training? Because as we know, we use ourselves for walking up the stairs, right? And maybe bending down, picking something up. So we need to have that lower body strength. And so we're going to do some exercises today that's going to involve that. But before we do, as you can see, we are outside. And are we all cold? Yeah. All right. So we're going to do some quick warm-ups just to kind of get the body going and our bodies warmed up before we do our training. Okay. So just a quick one, because we're going to do some lower body stuff. We're going to do first and foremost, so just follow along, just ankle circles. Okay. So just to kind of give our ankles a little bit of stretch as well as mobility. So just kind of go outward. Right, I know other people are buttons here. They go buttons. So maybe hold on to someone who's next to you. Okay, and then onto the other one, other ankle. So just go alternating inwards, outwards. Okay, just to kind of give a little bit of, blood going into those areas. Okay, and then after that, we're just gonna do some hip circles as well. So just follow so. So we'll start with our left, kind of going outwards, and we're gonna do 5 each. Okay, 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna go inwards. Okay, so back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, other leg. All right, so again, outwards. We're gonna do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 inward. There you go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. How do we feel? So we're just gonna do some jog on the spot because it's cold out here, and it's good to kind of get a heart rate going. So we're gonna do just 30 seconds of just jogging on the spot. If you want, you can do a little bit higher knees, maybe if you've got the fitness level to do so. But not too strenuous. This is just a warm up, right? This is not the workout just yet. All right. So we're gonna time that for about 30 seconds. Get a blood flow going. Okay, and for those at home, make sure that you have a little bit of space as we do this. So if you've got family members, just make sure that you've got a bit of space between so that you're not hitting each other as we do this. Okay. All right, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's rest for a bit. Okay. Now we're going to go into our main workouts. So because we only have limited time today, we're just going to do 4 workouts, okay? And I'm just going to demonstrate it before we start. But what we're going to do is we're going to go one after the other, and we're going to do a few rounds when we do it, okay? So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're called sumo squat. So rather than doing a normal squatting position, it's going to be a little bit wider, right? And then we're just going to do ground tap as we do so. So as we come down, again, chest up, and then we're just going to touch the ground and then come up. Okay, so just simple like that. All right, we're going to do a few reps doing so. Okay, can everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the first one. The second one is we're going to do squat heel tap. So we're going to do a simple, normal squatting position. And we're going to squat and we're just going to touch our heel as we come out.
Okay.
Just like so, all right? Can everyone do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone can see us in the camera. Let's go a little bit nearer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah?
okay.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so that's the second one. The next one is alternating reverse lunge with a knee drive. All right, so what we're doing is basically, okay. So we're doing a reverse lunge. So again, so if you just follow along, so squat position, and we're just gonna do sort of like one foot goes back, and then as we come up, we just do a knee drive just like so, right? So we come up and just like that. All right? Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah? Okay. How are we for time? Are we good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's
So
do it.
what we're going to do is we're going to do 12 reps for each exercise, and we do 20-second rest, and then we just keep alternating that in, okay? All right, are we ready? Are we ready, everyone?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Yep. Okay. So we're going to do the first exercise. So that's the sumo squat. So just follow along, and we're going to do 12 reps, and then we're going to do rest. Just follow me, okay? Ready? So 3, 2, 1. So we're just going to go down, touch the ground, do 12 reps. 2, 3, keep your chest up. 4, maybe tap your belly. You're gonna do it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Go at your own pace, right? You don't need to, if you need to go a little bit slower, that's fine. 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, we're gonna rest for a bit. So once we rest, you can walk around and just, maybe jog on the spot, walk on the spot. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so we're gonna keep resting. And so for those at home, if you need to, grab something to drink, or if you need to move around a little bit, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is squat, heel tap. Okay, so just follow along. We're gonna do 12 reps. Ready? So squat down, and then we touch our heel. Opposite side. 2, up, 3, down, up, 4, down, up, 5,
Yay!
down, up, 6,
Good job, everyone.
7, down, up, 8, 9,
I'm here for moral support.
10,
Yay!
11, 12. Okay, rest. It's actually harder than I thought. Okay, rest. Okay, 20-second rest. Do we have water? Have we brought anything to drink with us?
Yes,
Right? So if you need to, okay.
And coffee.
And coffee. There you go.
Yes, yes.
We need caffeine as well. Okay, so a few more seconds and then we get into the next one, which is the alternating reverse lunge with a knee drop. So just follow me. Okay, so we're going to start in a few seconds. There you go. So again, squat position and then reverse lunge. So just follow this. You guys do this and then
Okay.
knee up.
I
There you
love
go.
this. This is an exercise for everyone, all ages.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is covering a lot of strength, balance, stamina,
Yeah.
endurance. Okay, let's go to the other side now. All right. Yeah, people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Squat down. 5. Drive up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, rest for a bit. How are you feeling?
Are you enjoying?
Are you enjoying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So, because we don't have a lot of time left, we're just going to tell you the importance of this and why we do these exercises. So, just like what we mentioned earlier on, the body weight exercises is important because, again, we're not using external resistance to either build strength or stamina, but it's a good sort of stepping stone for us to be able to build momentum, get some basic training in, and we don't have to go to the gym for it. Okay? So everyone at home okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? All righty. How are we feeling? Great. There we go. Okay, Sister Erica, did you
Yes.
want to chime in?
With the last one, last exercise. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
You gonna do something? Okay, so once again, I know we're outdoors at the moment, but you can do this at home. And if you want to, you can also integrate, maybe getting some extra weight if you need to, something at home that you can use so that it builds that progressive overload that we talked about earlier on. All right, so just make sure that you're not, straining yourself too much to a point where you might get injured. It's very, very important that you go to your comfort level so that you'll be able to, not put yourself in this overwhelming state. And next thing you know, you hurt yourself and you get sore and you get injured and other things like that. So again,
As much as we
build it up.
want to be fit, let's always be careful and take care of ourselves. So
Exactly.
to avoid injuries or hurting ourselves.
Right.
Right?
There we go.
Thank you so much,
No
Brian.
worries. No worries.
We've literally just seen and worked out with them, with the brethren from Heathrow. And so, shout out to the brethren from Heathrow. And let's go and check out what fit and faithful means to them.
Whoa.
Yes, because we have prepped a quick video. watching.
Let's ask brethren what it means to be fit and faithful.
Being fit and faithful means looking after your body, well, especially your faith, because you need both to serve God.
To be healthy and faithful to our Lord God.
To me, being fit and faithful means being active in your faith.
Being faithful means to me finishing my race, not just physically, but spiritually.
Actively participating in unity games.
Being fit and faithful means looking after your health as well as prioritizing sleep in order to serve God.
Being fit and faithful means being fit to serve God.
As an INCRadio host on Fit and Faithful, I love playing volleyball and going on walks.
I like to play with my CWS friends. I like to run and I like to play the goal.
And everyone. Yes, I don't know everyone. Let's go and say hi again to the brother from Iran. Yes, thank you so much for joining us in our quick workout with Brian earlier, and also for that cute video. Thank you for sharing that with us. And as we continue with our INCRadio Fit and Faithful show, you know we never miss the CFO in action, right? And so we're going to highlight some activities that we've had in our districts. When I say districts, it's because we have District of Britain South, Britain North, and Ireland. There you go. So we'll start with the first activity that we want to showcase, which is Britain South Stratford Esports, right? So let's go and check out their activity. What do we say esports? You know, like they were playing this game where it's like parked, like the car, and then there were racing. And that was so much fun. I'm not sure if we're gonna see some pictures, but it was like so much fun to see and watch, and also like the brethren were having so much fun as well. There you go.
Sports activity that brought together gamers, friends, and families for an afternoon filled with fun, laughter, and friendly competition. In an ever-growing digital world, activities like these provide BINHE and CWS members with valuable opportunities to interact with one another in a safe, enjoyable, and Christian environment. Beyond the games, the gathering fostered teamwork, camaraderie, and further strengthened the love of the brotherhood. The local congregation are thankful to our beloved church administration for creating activities like these, and they reaffirmed their promise to always remain united with them.
All right, so we saw the esports activity. Now let's go to the next one.
The next one is from the Britain South District of Britain South, Battersea, and it's a BINHE t-shirt painting.
Wow, check it out.
The BINHE and CWS members from the local congregation of Battersea, District of Britain South, recently came together for a creative and colourful t-shirt painting activity, transforming a simple afternoon into a joyful experience filled with imagination and creativity. With paints, brushes, and plenty of enthusiasm, the children designed their own unique shirts, each one reflecting their personality, creativity, and excitement. Laughter and conversation filled the room as friends shared ideas, encouraged one another, and proudly displayed their finished artwork. The local congregation expressed heartfelt gratitude to the church administration for approving activities like this, which nurture the children's talents and further strengthen the love of the brotherhood.
All right, it was so nice seeing the different activities that we've had so far, then we look forward to the next ones as well. But we know that we have our favorite segment, which is comment section. No, you really come. Hashtag Heathrow, hashtag Heathrow, hashtag Heathrow. I think that Tom is happy about that. Okay, shut up. All right, let's go and read them. Go, Arian. We have shout outs from the brethren from Heathrow, as well as who? Go, Arian.
There's so many going on.
So there's hashtag Portsmouth from always Ivan, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then who else? We have shout outs. There's so many. It's so fast.
It's too fast. I can't
Okay,
read
so
them.
we have Nathan J. Salvador, hashtag Reading. Okay, Graham Thomas saying hashtag Bournemouth. Shout out to all the officers and brethren in the local of Bournemouth.
There's also
We have also go read.
There's also brother Lauren saying shout out to Old Heathrow
We
Choir.
have hashtag Southampton, hashtag Heathrow.
That's why I mentioned hashtag Heathrow earlier.
All right, and then of course, before we end our show, we would also like to shout out the top locales in their joining INCRadio Fit and Faithful Live, right? So the top ones are, first of all, oh wow. This is 2 weeks, okay? We're gonna shout out the top five for each week. From Sunday, Feb 8th, we have North London on the top. Heathrow North, Cornwall, Stratford, and Royal Greenwich.
Wow.
Now let's go to the next week, which was last week, Sunday, 15th Feb. But now we go from the 5th to the 1st, okay? I got excited. I'm sorry. Okay, so the 5th one is Stratford, Royal Greenwich, as well as the 3rd one is other districts. Thank you so much for joining us on INCRadio Fit and Faithful. And then we have second place, Exeter. Thank you so much for joining us here today and the previous ones as well. And we're excited to have you as well in the next shows that we'll be having. Okay, I lost balance there. I did that on purpose. Strength training. Okay. But we would like to thank everyone for joining us in our topic discussion, as well as joining us and working out. I know that we couldn't see you, but you joined us during that quick workout. And thank you so much as well for, always tuning in to INCRadio Fit and Faithful. It's time to say our goodbyes. Bye-bye. But of course, see you next week. I'm so excited. Wait a second, Arian. We'd like to acknowledge and greet the Executive Minister of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, as well as the Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Eraño V. Manalo. Who else? Of course, we would like to greet the district supervising ministers of the district of, first of all, Britain South, Brother Harley Alcantara, Britain North, Brother Romeo Anthony Pena, and the district of Ireland, Brother Pepito Aquesta. Greetings also to all the ministers and ministerial workers and their families. And last but not least, greetings to our INCRadio UK family. What are
keep on watching and listening to INCRadio via live audio and video streaming at iglesianicristo.net, INCRadio. And then remember to also take selfies and send it over so that we can also
showcase and show that you are joining us on INCRadio Fit and Faithful. And I guess this is, we forgot a shout out to our producer for today.
Yeah. Behind the scenes. We're looking at her right now.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Grace, and of course to our executive producer, Auntie Des there in Hawaii, as well as our team in the Philippines. And my personal shout out is related happy birthday to Ariel.
And also, happy birthday to my sister Erica tomorrow.
So young.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining.